A lot has been made of Wemby politicking for MVP. And Q Rich, one of the OGs, says, I hate it. Big fella, your game is doing all the talking. I don't feel like he should have to go up there and politic to prove why he's the MVP. My era wasn't really like that. We wouldn't go up there and say I should be MVP. We would be in the locker room like, what is he doing? And I agree with Q Rich. As someone who caught kind of the tail end of that era, I agree with you. It wasn't like that. But what I would also say to Q Rich is media wasn't like that. The way media dominates narratives and conversations today and decision-making and all, unfortunately, Q Rich, if that's still the mindset, you lose. Again, as someone who's caught guys in that era, for sure. Played some during that era in which Q Rich played, like with some of those same guys, for sure. I agree with Q Rich 1,000%. In his era, everybody would be in the locker room like, yo, this dude's a clown. Look at him. Unfortunately, this game is transcended by errors. And the era that today is very much so dealing with is the area of the new age, the new day and age media. And so, unfortunately for Q Rich, and what he said is, it's wrong. Yes, I get where he's coming from, but that's the thing about basketball, and that's why it's oftentimes impossible to compare eras, because everything changes. This is just a small example of that whole overarching thing, but everything changes when you start jumping from era to era. And so definitely understand where Q Rich is coming from, for sure, 1,000%, but it's just not that day and age. I said this on my last show. If Evan Mobley doesn't come out last year and finally speak on why he's Defensive Player of the Year, he doesn't win it. It does not happen. You have to these days, in today's day and age. Now, you can say Shai don't have to say anything. Shai's the defending champ. He is the reigning MVP. And it's Wemby's task to go take it from Shai. And I know there's been a lot of what I said about Wemby, and I know a lot of people were saying that I said that Wemby should be the MVP. Number one, I never said that. I actually think Shai is still the MVP, and Wemby need a couple more spectacular games because you have to take it. You have to take it from the reigning MVP. He's still at that level. And I don't think he's quite taken it yet. I agree with everything Wemby said, but I think he need a couple more signature moments down the stretch as voting rounds out to take that MVP. Now, I think he's right there, but here's the point, though. And by the way, if you voted Wemby MVP, you're not wrong. I'm not saying he's not. Like, dude's amazing. Creative player, no questions asked. But he actually does have to speak on it. He has to, which is why the next day, Q Rich, or 2 days later, he was number one on the board. Now, here's what I will say. I don't think Shai has to say much about it, but I think he's doing himself a disservice if he don't. Today's day and age is driven by media. If you think you don't apply, it does not apply to you, you're wrong. If you think that does not apply anyway, you're wrong. So, yeah, I hear what Q Rich is saying, and he's not wrong. In his era, that's exactly how it would be. But in his era, there also wasn't a 24-hour news cycle. And that changes things. Changes a lot of things.